Welcome to the University of Kentucky, virtually. Today we'll be talking about our critical care medicine programs, but it's important to note that there is a separate video for our pulmonary and critical care medicine program. We are sister programs and share a lot of things like faculty, staff, rotations, and curricula. But if you belong in the pulmonary and critical care medicine video, it's okay. We promise you won't miss anything when you head over there. Thank you for joining us. We know that your time is valuable, and we'll try to make good use of it. We mean to accomplish this video with the following: introducing who we are, talking about our program, our clinical training rotations and sites, our procedural training, the curriculum, the overall block schedule, and as much concrete information about the program as we can possibly squeeze in. We'd also like to talk about what we love about being here at UK and the things that we love about Lexington, and we'll end with a few comments from some of our fellows. I'm Erin Kamak, and I'll be the voice behind these videos. I'll introduce myself first, and then let my colleagues say hello. I'm Erin Kamak. I'm the Critical Care Programs faculty member, but I'm the Pulmonary and Critical Care Programs Program Director. I came here to the University of Kentucky about 2022 from Temple University, which is where I was an intern, a resident, a fellow, and a junior faculty member. I always had loved medical education, and I was really looking to get to sit in the big chair and do the dream job, which is why I looked for a new position here, and I'm so lucky that I did. This has been the best career move I've ever made in my life, and it's been fantastic to move here from Philadelphia, which a lot of people wouldn't think is the case. I lived in Philadelphia for 17 years, and I think a lot of folks who are from the coast may not recognize what a great little gem that Lexington is. And so in addition to getting the dream job and having all the support in the world and the opportunity to work with really fantastic people, I also am fortunate enough to have a really full and vibrant personal life here in Lexington.
Hi, I'm Mike Powers. I'm the Critical Care Medicine Program Director at the University of Kentucky. I originally trained in Oregon at Oregon Health Science University for medical school, and then moved to San Diego for residency and fellowship, and stayed there to start my staff career. My background's a little bit different than a lot of people at academic medical centers, because I was actually a physician for the United States Navy during that time in San Diego, which allowed me to do some pretty unique things that not many people get to do. And I hope someday to get to tell you a little bit more about those things.
My name's Taryn Trott. I'm APD of Critical Care here at UK. I grew up in California before moving to Kentucky for medical school. I stayed here for emergency medicine residency, did an ultrasound fellowship, worked for a little bit, and then did a critical care fellowship at Cooper University. I came back in 2020, mostly because I love UK, I love the culture here, and I was stoked to be a part of our medical ICU.
Hi everyone, I'm Parijat Sen. I'm an assistant professor in the Division of Pulmonary and Critical Care at University of Kentucky. I also have the privilege of serving as the Associate Program Director for the Pulmonary and Critical Care Fellowship. I did my medical school in India, in Calcutta Medical College, then moved to the United States to do my residency in Newark, New Jersey, followed by a fellowship in Pulmonary and Critical Care at Detroit, Michigan. I started here in 2019, and right out of fellowship, I knew that I wanted to be in a place which allowed me to pursue my passion, which is medical education, getting the opportunity to work with medical students, with residents, and with fellows. And at UK, I felt I found the perfect balance where I could pursue some of my clinical interest and other academic pursuits, while also have enough time and opportunities to work on curriculums, bedside teaching, didactics, research, and other forms of educational experiences with learners. I've been here since 2019 now, and it's been a great experience.
Now that you've met us, let's talk about where we are. Lexington, Kentucky is the heart of the state of Kentucky. We're about an hour and a half from Cincinnati and about an hour from Louisville. Our town of about 500,000 people has three huge industries: horses, bourbon, and education.
Lexington has been a real surprise in a positive way. It's sort of that quintessential college town, and I never experienced that earlier in my academic career. It's a place where on Saturday when there's a football game, stores might close. I was shocked the first weekend I was here. I went to the tile store to buy tile, and they had a sign up on the door that said closed for football game. At the time, I was annoyed, but now I actually really appreciate that that is the way the city works. The university is truly the heart of the city. It is what drives things and what brings people together. And being part of that has been great. It's a town that's manageable in size, so easy to get around, easy to do things, but big enough to have really the vast majority of what you want. And if it doesn't, there's bigger cities a very short drive away in Cincinnati and Louisville. I think the presence of the university really diversifies the city at large, both in terms of the people that live here and the opportunities that exist from an entertainment perspective, from a cultural perspective, all of those things. It really is, it feels much bigger than it is on paper. So it's been a great place to live. The university really enriches the city. It brings a lot of diversity in terms of culture, in terms of opportunities, and it really makes it feel like a much bigger place than it is on paper. The opportunities here are virtually limitless, and really meets all of the expectations.
Well, what's it like to live in Lexington? So when I commuted in Philadelphia, I drove 25 to 30 minutes a day and traveled about 4 miles in each direction. And that's pretty usual, for a city like that with kind of poor public transit, but, a big population. Here in Lexington, I commute for about 18 minutes on a bicycle twice a day, which is great for my mental health and well-being. That alone is a huge jump forward in terms of quality of life for me. I also can get to town on my bicycle easily, so I can drop by and pick things up and shop or go out to eat or whatever I need to do just by grabbing the bike lane and going a few extra blocks downtown. One of the nice things about our campus is that we're situated like right on the edge of the actual town of Lexington. So we're not having like a really long distance, like you'd have to take a bus or anything to get to downtown locations. You can literally just walk, which is amazing. I really thought that Lexington, being a much smaller city than where I am from, would have fewer things to do, but my social life and experience of the arts is just as full as it was when I lived in Philadelphia. This past week, I went to see an opera that was put on by the UK opera company that was called Sanctuary Road, which was a story about slavery in Lexington. And all of the singers were UK vocal performance graduate students, and it was an A+ performance at the Opera House downtown. What more do you need? In Philadelphia, you can see great opera too. You have to wait for opera season. But there's no difference in terms of the quality of that sort of art that you're able to access. And if you really do want something that Lexington doesn't have, like a great big symphony orchestra, then Cincinnati and Louisville are like a hop, a skip, and a jump from here. It takes less time to get to Louisville than it did to get downtown and back in Philadelphia, which is amazing. There's a ton of outdoor activities around here. I have to admit I'm not as outdoorsy as I used to be, but there are a lot of opportunities for that for those folks who are interested in it. We get together here, with our colleagues and co-fellows and co-faculty quite frequently. We enjoy the restaurant scene in Lexington. We get together at all kinds of neat little speakeasies and breweries and opportunities to go for hikes. So we are not bored, I promise. Those of you who are from the coast, there's a lot of great things to discover in Lexington. It's a diverse city. It has a ton of interesting humans in it and a ton of great stuff to do. Within Lexington, this is the University of Kentucky campus. The map here encompasses all of the university, including the health science campus, which is literally right in the middle. The campus includes the following training sites: Chandler Hospital, which is the flagship hospital for the university, Good Samaritan Hospital, a community center closer to downtown, and the VA Medical Center, which serves veterans in our community. Clinical rotations for our programs encompass all of these sites so that fellows who graduate from our programs have a diversity of experience at different levels of care. Most of the fellowship takes place at Chandler Hospital, which is the flagship quaternary referral center for our state and the #1 institution by U.S. News and World Report. It's a state-of-the-art, brand new building with over 1,000 beds, and it's currently building yet another tower on yet another wing, so you can expect it to keep growing during your fellowship. At Chandler, we have access to the full menu of critical care. This includes VA and VV ECMO, advanced cardiac support devices like LVADs and the Impella system, and specialized ICU services for trauma, surgery, neurology, neurosurgery, cardiac, and cardiothoracic surgical patients. This is in addition to our very large MICU, which encompasses 4 full ICU teams. Medical education here is huge. We are in the top 5% of institutions by size in the United States for graduate medical education, having nearly 1,000 graduate medical education trainees at the health science campus. We also serve 804 medical students, with a plan to increase that number to over 1,000 in the coming years. A brand new medical school is currently under construction to accommodate these additions and to better serve the many clinician and PhD scientists who generate over $160 million annually in NIH grants. The Chandler site is right next door to the Kentucky Clinic, which is the outpatient quaternary referral clinic for the university's faculty members. We are also home to a post-ICU recovery clinic for ICU survivors, which has generated NIH-funded research under our division's faculty. In addition to the Chandler site, there are 2 additional sites for critical care training. The Lexington VA Medical Center is home to a mixed medical and surgical ICU. The Good Samaritan location, known by the fellows as the Great Sam, is home also to a MICU. Senior fellows spend time here running the ICU team as though they are the attending physician. Procedural training within our fellowships is robust. Our fellows routinely graduate with staggering procedural numbers, but training at the bedside isn't our only offering. We're proud to have a faculty-led simulations program which incorporates high acuity, low occurrence events, things like Minnesota or Blakemore tube placement or emergency cricothyrotomy. TEE training with Dr. Dar also sets fellows up for success during their CT-SICU rotation. POCUS here at UKY is in robust practice.
One of my main focuses to provide a ultrasound curriculum for the fellows throughout their 2 or 3 years here. And we do that in really 3 different ways. We have a noon series, which is kind of the fundamentals of ultrasound, make sure everyone's on the same page. And then we also have a self-selective track and also a selective. So the track itself, it runs about 9 months, and it's a pretty intensive cardiac focus. 4 or 5 months of the track is dedicated to things, advanced concepts in cardiac ultrasound, things like VTIs, RV, function, assessment of PE, tamponade, effusions, wall motion abnormalities, all those things we covered. And then, of course, we transition into abdominal and thoracic modalities. All this prepares pretty well for the critical care echo boards, which some of our fellows have elected to take and pass as well. We also have a selective, which is 1 or 2 weeks where we do a lot of bedside scanning, we do a lot of QA sessions, we go over images, and we build that repertoire and those repetitions for bedside scanning.
Fellows at our institutions perform intubations and become airway experts, graduating with between 50 and 80 intubations each. Those with interest also have access to elective rotations with our interventional pulmonary medicine team to gain further bronchoscope and chest tube placement experience. Our program's block schedule keeps fellows busy, but there are plenty of opportunities for a haircut half day. We offer the mean amount of ICU time compared to other fellowships nationally. In an effort to ensure adequate diastole, our fellows usually work about 1 weekend a month and don't get called in for cross coverage for any services other than MICU nights. Our clinical curriculum is easy to review in detail online, but Dr. Mays can tell you more about our didactic curriculum.
One of my passion projects has been to revamp the pulmonary curriculum. In years past, the fellows were driving a lot of their own curriculum, and I think that was something in the United States that was going on, but now we're really tailoring it to what our fellows want and need. So we've taken a lot of feedback from them, and we've created a curriculum that's kind of works in two halves. The first half of the year is core curriculum, introductory things, layering on those chapters of, this is part A, B, and C. And then in the second half of the year, we take a more nuanced approach. We have outside speakers come in that talk about higher level topics that we've already had a good baseline for. And so it's really an opportunity to build our fellows' base knowledge and confidence and really inspire them to push themselves to that next level. We introduce topics to them, and then they kind of are able to take the reins and learn more on their own independently. It's received a lot of incredible feedback, and I'm really proud to say that once again this year we have a 100% board rate passing.
There's so much more we could tell you about. We go to big conferences, we try to stay fit, we hang out together, we teach and love medical education, we do research. But we'll end our video with some comments about our culture and our future. Since our fellows are the best of both, we'll let them have the last word.
The main thing that draws people to UK, and then like myself draws back to UK, is that I think we have a really collegial culture with all the different specialties at UK. I feel like I can reach out to anyone in this hospital and have that academic, empowering kind of relationship to really focus on getting patients the best care they have. And I think it's fun to work here. I think everyone kind of comes together and has a good attitude when we show up to work every day.
Every time I talk to anyone about the culture at UK, the one thing that I always mention are the people. These have to be some of the kindest, nicest, and wonderful people that I've worked with. And no place exemplifies that more than our ICUs and the clinic, where the physicians, the nurses, the pharmacists, the respiratory therapist, the ancillary staff all get together with the common motive of providing exceptional care to the people of Kentucky. And I think this culture kind of seeps over into the fellowship as well, where there's a camaraderie between the fellows and the faculty, where we not just love hanging out at work, but outside work as well, which could be a summer barbecue, which could be a game night, or which could just be a casual evening over drinks somewhere. So it may sound a cliche, but I have to say that we are like an extended family in this fellowship.
Hi, my name is Ann Finke, and I am a current second year in our nephrology and critical care medicine track. I am originally from Lexington, Kentucky. Fun fact, was actually born here at our hospital at UK. I have stayed and done all my education here. I did my undergrad, I did medical school, did my residency, and now I'm finally in my fellowship. I love UK and definitely wouldn't trade any of it. So the Nephrology and Critical Care Fellowship has been around for about a decade now, and it is a true combined program. So the first year, you spend the majority of your time doing nephrology, but you do get a couple weeks in critical care medicine. But then the following 2 years, you basically every 6 weeks are going back and forth between being on nephrology and being on critical care. I think it is a great way to train. You can use all the knowledge that you learn and have from nephrology in the ICU and vice versa. So here at UK, if you're interested in anything, it's pretty easy to get involved. One of my passions was actually medical education. In my residency, I did a resident as teacher multi-year course to learn how to better teach. And so I got involved in first our GME Resident Fellow Forum, which is a monthly meeting with all the programs that brings up issues with any residency and fellowship problems or programs. This further led to me being on the ACGME, or the Accreditation Council of Graduate Medical Education, and I currently serve in 2 roles there. I'm currently serving as the trainee representative for the Review Committee of Internal Medicine, and I'm on the Common Programs Requirement Task Force. these national opportunities have really afforded me to be able to know and get to know people at the national level in medical education. The culture at UK is one of the reasons I stayed. I think it is very collegial, but also we have great camaraderie, not only between us as fellows, but also faculty. They are highly supportive of anything that you want to do, or if you're having a rough time and need support, there's always a faculty member here that is very supportive. It's also a great place to train. We take care of really, really sick patients, and no better place than to have sick patients in the ICU to learn. And so the culture throughout the entire UK healthcare is fantastic.
Hey guys, my name is Ryan Brisky. I'm one of the first year critical care medicine fellows and soon to be one of the chief fellows for next year. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, where I did medical school at LECOM and did my residency at WellSpan York Hospital in York, Pennsylvania. And now I'm here.
And my name is Kat Cashy. I'm also going to be a chief fellow next year with Dr. Brisky. I am originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and I went to Ohio University for medical school. And then I did my residency in Columbus at Riverside Methodist Hospital and then came here for fellowship. I would say one of the things that drew me to UK, especially in the interview process, was just how sick our patients are here. We only get to train one time our entire lives, and then we have to go out there and be attendings and be the boss. And so I really wanted to make sure that I went to a very clinically strong program where I was going to get exposed to all different kinds of critical care patients as well as pulmonary patients to give us a really strong clinical foundation for our training. So I would say that's one of the big strengths of our program.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough to say about how sick our patients are and just the breadth of pathology that we get to see day in and day out. I think in addition to that, we get multiple different fields. We have two major hospitals that we rotate at, Good Sam Hospital, which is more like a community center, and then we have UK, which is obviously a big academic center. But despite that, you get to train at both places, get the feel for both so that no matter where you go after fellowship, you are well prepared. Yeah, and on the topic of procedures, you know, whether you're critical care medicine coming from an IM background, EM background, or, you know, some other fellowship, we absolutely have a robust procedural experience. Whatever you need, you will get here. If you need extra time, me coming from emergency medicine, I don't have a lot of pulmonary background, so I can rotate with the IP fellow and their service and get some bronchs and things like that. Whereas we have all of the ICU procedures that you would expect anywhere.
And I think speaking to procedural experience, one of the other strengths, I think, is simulation in our program. We have a whole curriculum based on that, specifically our HALO curriculum, which is our high acuity, low occurrence curriculum, which I'm sure you'll hear more about on interview day. But those are to focus on procedures that you might not do as often, but when you need to do them, you need to know how to do them. So it's really working on those in the sim lab with our attendings as mentors has really helped kind of bolster fellow confidence. That way, when you're in that scenario in real time, whether it's on nights or on days, you feel confident in the situation that you're putting in. I think it's really set us up for success.
Yeah. And something new it just dawned on me about is we're starting to do some simulation with TEE. Ultrasound is something that's very important to our fellowship, whether it's pulmonary or obviously in the ICU. We have great multiple faculty members that are trained in ultrasound to teach us along the way. But now we start to get into some TEE, and we're hopeful to continue to advance that teaching and program throughout our fellowship.
And I think there'll be a lot of programs that will talk about how great the people are and how great the mentorship is. But I think University of Kentucky, we've been really, really lucky. I think with the great mentors that we've had, like Dr. Dar, who is runs our TEE program and his passion for ultrasound, as well as Dr. Trott. We've just had some great mentors. We had a lecture today on ventilators with Dr. Gopinath and Dr. Sen. And so you really get to know your faculty as mentors, but also they become like friends over time. So it's a great culture here.
Yeah. And at risk of sounding cliche, you know, it's the people that make UK what it is. I'm from Pennsylvania. I knew nobody in Kentucky before I came here, but on my interview day, I could feel the culture here and how great it was. And it was the people that drove me to come here. And so I can't say enough about that.
Yeah.
I can't think of a better way to end. Please head to our website and check out the resources there, which we'll be updating throughout the interview season. We look forward to seeing you on interview day and, if we're really lucky, at graduation a few years down the road.